Thank you for joining us on Carly's Colorful Corner, where we will learn how to shade our polar bear using pen and ink. First step is determine your darkest darks. And for me, my background has a cave in it, so I'm going to color in the cave's mouth using a diagonal hatch, going back and forth in a diagonal direction over and over until I get a dark, dark black. Now I'm going to block in the bottom half of the nose, and I'm going to do this using a series of slightly curved lines going back and forth to emphasize that the nose is a three-dimensional shape and that the shadow is moving around the nose at a curve. Anytime you have an object on top of another object, you are going to have a contact shadow. Let's add a very thin, dark line underneath our hat to indicate that the hat is connecting with the head and casting a shadow upon it. You can do this by feathering in your shadow with light strokes. We're going to continue this idea with the bottom of your polar bear's feet and legs. Remember, the closer to the body, the darker the line, and as you move away from the body, the lighter the line or the lighter the shadow will become. Don't forget to do the underside of your scarf as well. The scarf is on top of the body, but the underside is further away from the light source, so you will have a little bit of an undershadow. Now that we have our undersides blocked in and our contact shadows clearly defined, let's play with the edge of your scarf. You can feather in your curved outer line for your scarf using gentle brush strokes with your pen. The goal here is to not go too dark, but to at least define that there is an object there. So feather in this detail with care, and you're also going to repeat this with the body of the polar bear as well by going over your pencil outline with a feathery, scratchy line stroke to emphasize fur. Now I'm going to pause for a minute and zoom out and let you get a peek of what the fur looks like on my left side of my polar bear. I got this blocked in by feathering in my strokes and kind of varying my pressure as I went down and around the body. You're going to want to do this to the other side of the body as well. This gives you the illusion that it's real fur. As you move around the body, you want to make sure that your line moves in the direction in which the fur will go. So if you're going around a hip, then your fur is going to be your fur strokes are going to be slightly curved as it moves around the hip. If your fur is hanging down and gravity is having a natural play in this, then your slightly diagonal strokes are going to be more pointing downwards and they're not going to be too far from the body. So just keep this in mind. Fur kind of, overlaps and creates shadows as it hits other strokes of fur on the body. So vary your line pressure as you're doing this to emphasize the varying of the shadow as the fur moves around the body of your polar bear. This rule will also apply to the muzzle of your polar bear. I'm going to zoom in so you can see how I'm varying my line, how my line strokes are shifting as it moves around the muzzle. So my left hand side of my muzzle has strokes that are leaning towards the left hand side, and my right hand side of my muzzle has strokes of fur leaning downwards towards the right side of my bear's muzzle or snout. So just keep this in mind. Think of anatomy as you are drawing, because muscles do wrap around bone, and skin and fur and everything that's attached to said muscle will also do the same. Now that we've finished our polar bear's body, we're going to move on to our trees. Same rule applies here, except for this time, instead of doing short, brief strokes to represent fur, we're going to do long, bowed, diagonal strokes to represent long, flowing tree limbs on our pine trees or our evergreens. So, as you're working on the left side of your tree, you're going to have uh, left bowed diagonal line strokes out and away from your center line that you have entered, or your guideline. And then as you get closer to the guideline and you're moving closer into the center of your tree's body, you're going to start straightening out those lines, because those are going to be head on to the viewer. And as you move to the right, your line strokes are going to shift to the right. This will give you the illusion of having a three-dimensional evergreen tree. And right now, we're basically just filling in the space. So don't worry too much about varying your pressure. You just want to make sure that your line strokes are light and they're generally close together, but you can have some of that white peeping through, because this is kind of like a medium value. It's not too dark, it's not too light. And we will build upon this as we go. But right now, let's just focus on getting the general shape of the tree put in place first. Now that I have the general shape of the tree put in, I have my medium value. I am then going to build upon that medium value by adding even more line in the areas that I would like to become darker. Naturally, a pine tree kind of goes in a conical kind of shape, and the top of the branch casts a shadow on the branch below it. So that's how I'm going to start building my tree branch shadows, is I'm going to kind of make a pattern. The top branch is going to be lighter. The area that's underneath that branch is going to be darker. So I'm going to add more line in that area. This is when I can push down on my pen a little bit more to kind of like darken my line if I want to. You can also build your shadow quality by putting lines on top of each other close together. Remember, it's easier to add darkness than it is to take it away. So just take your time. If you need to look at an actual tree with the light source closer to the top, of the tree coming down on the tree's body at a slight diagonal, then do so. If not, just take a peek at what I'm doing, and if you feel comfortable, then move forward. This lesson was done around Christmas time, so I would like to add some ornaments to my tree. So I'm just going to add a varied amount of circles around the body of my second tree. If you don't want to do this, then don't. If you do, then do. It is your artwork, your choice. You get to choose how you would like to do your piece. Same rule applies here to this tree, as we did to the first tree. keep those diagonal strokes or those bowed kind of tree limb strokes in this tree as well, except for this time you're going to color around or stroke around your Christmas ornaments. If you decided to add clouds, then kind of stroke or feather stroke those clouds in there. If you have curves in your clouds, then your feathered strokes are going to be within a curved kind of line format. If you don't have clouds in there, then that's fine. If you have a sun, then add some embellishments to your sun. At this point, you're just going to take a break and look at your piece by stepping back a little bit and seeing where you need to like add or build upon certain shadows to kind of make it look more three-dimensional. Um, and that, my friend, is how you shade a polar bear using pen and ink. Thank you so much for joining us for this demonstration. For more tips and tricks, please subscribe to our YouTube channel at Carly's Colorful Corner or take a peek at our Facebook page or Instagram. But if you're more interested in in-person step-by-step tutorials, please take a peek at our OUTSCHOOL platform via Carly Wiersma. And in the meantime, I look forward to seeing you in the classroom.